Hey, everybody. I'm Nick Pompane.
And I'm Dylan Carty.
And we're with Realty Growth Incorporated. And today we're going to talk a little bit about what we learned, some things that we saw, people that we met while we were at ICSC this year.
What was it, like our 9th ICSC team?
I think it was about the 9th one. I think that sounds about right. I don't know. We'll just jump right into it. I mean, Dylan, I don't know about you, but one thing that I noticed was it seemed less busy this year.
Yeah, it's getting smaller. I think we were talking about that on the bus. That used to be 50,000 people, then 30,000. It seemed even smaller this year.
And I know, they talked about the Central Hall was under construction, but then I thought that like the North Hall and the South Hall would have been more congested. But I just, personally, I didn't feel that.
I think that killed it a lot too this year. You have to go completely, you have to walk almost probably a mile from the North Hall to the South Hall in between these two areas. And I think it probably, I'm guessing there's more people that skipped meetings that were in the North Hall versus Central Hall and things like that, just because they weren't aware of the inconvenience and missing meeting times. But
yeah, and I guess the other thing I noticed too was they've actually condensed the conference. Like, so when we started, we talk about whatever 9 years ago, 8 years ago, whenever it was. It used to be a Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. And usually like Wednesday afternoon, they would start the teardown, I think around 3:00. And slowly, I would say since COVID, really, they've condensed that. And now it was Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. Basically, teardown starts Tuesday at 3:00. So I think most people, including us, right?
Yeah,
we actually came in Saturday night, did things on Sunday, obviously all day conference Monday, and then we left first thing Tuesday morning.
I don't know that there's a lot of people that do stay Tuesday anymore. It used to be longer. I mean, I do think it's a little bit of, it gets to be crazy Monday when you have back-to-back meetings, but everyone there does it. I mean, they're 10 to 15 minute meetings, and really you're just putting faces to people you've already been emailing and talking to. So it's,
and I think we've become more, I guess, we're more veterans now of the ICSC, because I truly remember even like the first probably 3 years for me, it was so overwhelming.
Yeah.
Not only like, and I'm a people person and I love people, but not only the fact that there's just so many people, but just being lost in like the sea of people and booths and just not exactly knowing how to navigate. So I think this year we did a really good job. It was super efficient in my opinion.
Yeah, I think we realized that probably 3 or 4 years ago, we realized that you got to have your meetings set up beforehand, and most of the stuff really happens on Sunday. So there's some happy hours and parties that happen on Sunday, as well as the education stuff. And then Monday, you just kind of, maybe get some ideas for new stuff, and then you actually will meet with people you had meetings set up with to specifically talk about your project. But otherwise, it seems like the quickest. It seems like kind of the conference that you spend all year working on for what feels like 24 hours when you're there, and then it's like,
then it's done.
You're gone. You're there and you're gone. I mean, it felt like a pretty quick trip.
It did. I agree with you. Quicker than in years past, and maybe that's just us getting older too. I don't know, but I thought we had a very successful conference. I truly believe that. I think we had some really great meetings. Like I said, I think it was more efficient, but I think that's also a byproduct of us just knowing how it goes now, more so than anything.
I think too, in the last 3 years, we've had our own projects versus working on somebody else's projects. Now we've had our own projects in the last 3 years that we're able to pitch and talk about. And it just feels like you're able to talk a little bit more about knowing that it's one you're doing, you own it. You can be a little bit more in tune with it, I guess you can say, than having to try and pitch something that might not happen because you don't control it. So that's been huge, I think, for us.
Oh, for sure. And the project that Dylan's referring to is the one that we started construction probably about a month ago. Currently, our footings and foundations are in. We'll start seeing the framing go up here, I would think, in the next week or two, at 3629 Sarah Place Northwest. It's a approximately 14,000 square foot single-story retail office, I would call it, building right across from where our current building sits. So we're super excited about that. We're probably not going to share who we met with or the ideas behind that, but we were able to meet with several retailers and brokers as well that represent, I would call, national retailers to go into this building to bring something new. They are new to the market, which is super exciting for us.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so. I think it's just like we were saying, it's a lot more fun to be able to have something to show versus I feel like it's a lot harder at ICSC to pitch something that's 3 years out. It seems like you get them excited and they're like, "Oh, you got footings in the ground. We better work on this. I'll get this to the general manager or whoever I need to talk to right away." So it seems like stuff goes a little quicker when you have something going.
Yeah, it's like a greater sense of urgency, I guess, especially if you have tenants or clients looking in the market, which there are.
Yeah.
And I think people are generally excited about Rochester.
Yeah.
I know, obviously we are. We love Rochester. That's why we're here.
It's great to see guys we've done business with before, even in our first project and other things. So that was fun. I'd say the funnest part was probably bringing, and I'll jump off here shortly and we'll introduce you to him, was Micah, our new development guy.
Yeah.
He got to experience it for the first time and really dove into it. And that was fun to see from the outside, to watch him.
Yeah, for sure. And I won't go into too much because I'm sure we'll want to do a little segment and get to meet Micah on a later thing. But Micah is a recent graduate of the University of Wisconsin-Madison MBA program, his focus on real estate. And he had quite a few meetings set up, which was pretty awesome. I think it shows that his network is very vast and that program itself is pretty exciting. And the connections that he has was awesome to see. So I know he took full advantage of the conference as well. And
yeah, we'll bring Mike in here. Overall, for me, it was a great ICSC. I think the thing to watch, like we said at the beginning, is how ICSC continues to, does it grow, does it shrink, does it, and see what happens there. But
yeah,
we'll bring Micah in.
Well, here's Micah. Everybody say hi to Micah. We'll do a more in-depth get to know Micah kind of a thing here later, but today we'll keep it focused on ICSC. But Micah just joined our group actually today. It's June 2nd today. So
yeah, couldn't be more excited.
First of all, welcome, Micah. And Micah joined us on our ICSC trip this year, which was really awesome. It was kind of a way for us to kick off his employment at Realty Growth. And Mike is going to be instrumental in helping us continue with our development projects and things like that. So we're super excited to have him. But Micah, I guess from your perspective, this was your first year at ICSC. What were a few key takeaways that you thought were helpful or that you learned, I guess?
Yeah, so, I mean, it was just great to spend some time with Nick, Dylan, get to know the RGI team a little bit down at ICSC. Had a lot of fun. Also, I think we were really productive down there. We went to some educational sessions, 3 sessions, and they were all in one way or another focused on using AI for leasing and commercial real estate development. So one thing that really stuck out to me from one of those sessions was how can you use AI to define a build-to-suit project for a particular tenant who might be looking for a space? How can you find that space for them, bring the space to them, and help design the project using AI? But beyond the educational sessions, I just think it was really great to connect with some industry professionals who might either be partnering on future developments with RGI or also potential tenants for sites that RGI is either developing or looking to lease. I know I personally made a lot of connections there. I think Nick and Dylan did as well. But yeah, those were my key takeaways.
Yeah, no, and I love that. And Micah really hit it hard, which I really appreciate. I was saying earlier with Dylan that you have a vast network of, I would call it fellow alumni, which was really cool. And for me, there was a particular meeting that Micah actually invited me to that I just found very fascinating. And the group is a really great group. It seemed like the guy was awesome. I mean, it was really fascinating to see the projects that they were working on. I think the one was going to be over, I think it was a 5-year period or something, but it was like over $1 billion development project.
Yep.
And it's just, I really appreciated that. And I ended up doing a little bit more research on that group and saying, gosh, that's how I envision RGI going and what they do, because I saw a lot of similarities on their company with our company, being a family-owned thing. He said one thing that was really funny was, I remember he's like, well, you see those guys over there, they're salespeople too. He goes, it's kind of funny because they're working on like a $1 million developments and And then they're also selling like their grandma's $100,000 home. And I was like, oh my gosh, that's us. Like, that's who we are. Like, so that was really cool. And what a great connection. And that's kudos to you, Micah, and your schooling and all that stuff, that you have these amazing connections. So thanks for that. I mean, because that was really cool.
You're more than welcome. One of the great things, but also one of the challenges of ICSC is you're looking at the largest commercial real estate conference, or actually the largest real estate period conference in the world. I believe there's typically over 30,000 attendees. The educational programming that people can go to is great. That usually happens on the first day of the conference, but then on the second day, basically you have this huge exhibit hall, and you can walk around and see different exhibitors, but also I think it's really critical to try and set up meetings with people ahead of time. So if there is anybody in particular that you want to talk to, anybody you know who you want to reconnect with at the conference, just be reaching out ahead of time, scheduling that ahead of time, and I think you can have an incredibly productive conference with 30,000 other real estate professionals in attendance.
Yeah, and I would echo that. I mean, that for me is still one of the biggest takeaways, is especially for those that are just going for the first time, is to have a thought out plan, because it goes so fast and it is a absolute grind. I heard that it's a quarter mile. Someone was talking on the bus. It's a quarter mile to walk one end of the exhibit hall to the other. And so that's just kind of crazy. And yeah, you want to get to as many people as you possibly can. And now for me personally, it's getting a lot more fun because I think Dylan had said it, you're reconnecting with some of those people that you typically don't see otherwise. And it's still an amazing conference, despite the fact that we found that it's probably getting shorter and there's maybe less people than there were in years past. It's still the premier conference, I would say. And so I would just say, yeah, have those meetings, have a game plan put together of who you want to meet or what booths you want to go to, what educational seminars you want to attend, and it'll be super successful. I'll just say, don't do what Dylan and I did the first time we went and have no plan, because that was honestly for me, even though I'm a very not type A person, I was so overwhelmed.
But you learned from that.
But I did learn from that. It maybe took me 2 years or 3 years, but I did learn eventually. So
he's an ICSC pro now.
Veteran.
There we go. Yeah.
So yeah, that's our recap. We'll have more from Micah here, I'm sure, because he's just joining and we're super excited to have him. But thank you everybody for listening and watching.
Yeah, thanks all.